They what? Oh, no. They didn't tell me. It's just, I didn't hear anything today. That's great. Let's get it. Take a look at it. You'll be getting. Yeah. We got 4 minutes.
Somebody got the heat on.
No, they don't.
Whatever. Hey, Jill.
They don't. They didn't.
How are you? All right. Good to see you. Your flashlight on? Is your flashlight on? Yeah. Right.
And you said he's based in. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I got you. Get a lot of cooking.
Oh,
Yeah. I can imagine. I can imagine.
But it not, this is all over out.
Nation discussion. Yes, sir.
They'll stay home Christmas so like you said, the students have their Christmas party. They have to play all this.
Yeah. I got you.
It'll be the last time you put in. They have to get the last ones in before they're signing.
That's right.
They
Today.
haven't done it.
All right.
This is-
Last week. That's beginning of the semester.
All right, folks, it is 7 p.m. I will go ahead and call our meeting to order. If we can start with a moment of silence, please. If we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As a reminder, if you happen to have a cell phone on you, please make sure that it's off or on silent, please. City Clerk Domingo, you'll roll call for us, please.
Councilmember Williams,
Present.
Reed, Jackson,
Here.
Lawler,
Here.
Davis,
Here.
French,
Here.
and Mayor Snyder.
Here. Council member comments. Councilman Lowe. Okay. Now we go.
Thank you so much. Honorable Mayor and Council, today is a day that I never thought would arrive, but I am grateful. I'd like to thank God for an opportunity of a lifetime, an assignment that showed me what being a humanitarian is all about. I want to thank my children, Michael, Marcola, Malik, and Lamarco, my grandchildren, Braden, Brandon, Malia, Lyric, Legend, Bright Air, and Lala. You were my inspiration for leaving a legacy. my parents, my siblings, my church home, Grace Temple, the city of Albion, precinct 4. You rock. Thank you for allowing me to represent you and be a part of your lives in a growing Albion. You allowed me to voice your opinion and trusted I would do the right thing. You made me learn how to work well with others, keep your cool, and fight for you. 2016 through 2020, it was about learning my new environment by educating myself. Lots of MML training, lots. Coaching, code of ethics, council rules, city charter, Robert's rules, and the importance of your city attorney. Thanks so much, Cullen. 2020 to 24, it was all about building partnerships. Old Union Steel was down, roads was done, bridge was rebuilt, bike trail came alive, Highland Park was upgraded, Oakland Express Care came, Water Tower had a new look, and McIntosh Water Park looks great. Councilman Williams, thank you for helping me understand when I did. Councilwoman Reed, you taught me a lot about going out and finding partnerships, and I am confident that McAuliffe Park will also look as great as Highland Park. Councilmember Jackson, thank you for reminding me of who I am supposed to represent by keeping my character in check. Councilwoman Davis, didn't get to work with you much, but I am rooting for the countywide transportation. Councilmember French, thank you, thank you, thank you for a great season. You always open the door to provide understanding. I could ask you anything and you will provide clarity. Mayor Snyder, who would have thought that two ladies from the same neighborhood, growing up, becoming friends, would hold office in their hometown? Only to find out when it came to politics, we were only colleagues. It was fantastic working with you from the bottom of my heart. Today, I celebrate 8 years, amazing years, for the City of Albion and Albion City Council. Councilmember Frost, didn't get to talk to you that much, but I ask that you continue the process what audience you serve. Some work, some have kids, some have walkers, some have prosthetic legs, some have canes. Look into the trees. The trees are pulling up our sidewalks. Keep an eye out for the lady on Prospect and Division. She needs help with leaves. The lady on Burr Oak and Division. She likes to try and shovel her own stuff. Mrs. Wright on Monroe is on oxygen and would like to walk with her tank from time to time, but can't because her sidewalk prohibits her from doing so. The day you shook my hand and said it was great race, Marcola. Now it's in God's hands. And I agreed. I'm sure you will do great. My fellow American, I salute you. Thank you so much.
Any other council member comment? Councilman Ray.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. When I embarked on the city council, I wasn't familiar with many of you guys at the time when I first got here. Miss Reed, I'd heard your name frequently, but Martola was someone I knew because I was her neighbor for a while. So it's been a pleasure to serve the city of Albion with you both, Ms. Jackson and Marcola. I look forward to seeing you all in voluntary roles and serving the community in many other ways over the next coming years. So please don't think that this is the end of a chapter. This is just an invitation to do something different. Civic duties, our civic duties are something that, you know, we as members of the community of Albion, we take very seriously, especially our volunteerism and participating here in our local community. So I definitely want to see you all frequently and allow you all to continue to use the knowledge that you've learned here on council to benefit the greater community continually. So again, I thank you all for your service, and I welcome CJ Frost and Jim Stewart to council as well. So thank you all.
Councilman Reed.
I will miss you, Nora, but I will definitely miss this girl. Every meeting, she said, give me a pen and did you bring me some peppermints?
What about the heat?
And so, yeah. So I will miss her for sure.
I do want to thank you both for serving your community. As we all know, it's very hard to get people to come forward to serve in this capacity. It takes a lot of strength and determination to do what we do. So I thank you both for putting yourselves out there to represent your precinct and to represent the city of Albion. Councilman French.
To those who are leaving the council, I want to say thank you. As has already been said, service in this community is a challenge. We have a lot of folks in our community who don't pay attention. I want to applaud both Councilwoman Jackson and Councilwoman Marcola Lawler for being those foot soldiers on the ground who have their ear open and available to hear comments and concerns, and then to bring those concerns to council for action. And sometimes that action is a call to our DPW people to fix a problem right away, to be engaged in the fun part of our job, which is to sort of connect, as Councilwoman Lawler said, to make connections. To bring people's services, the city services, to the people who need it, and to do so with a smile and an engaged spirit. So, Marcola, thank you for your kind words, and I expect to see you in a consulting way, helping your constituents continue to help CJ to bring about the things that need to be brought about. So share your list, and that will be helpful. And Councilwoman Jackson, the same. You are a leader in our community in so many ways. I expect to see that leadership continue, even if you're not sitting at this table. So thank you both for your service.
Jackson.
Yes, I just like to thank all of you allowing me to work with you. It is a different look here when you're actually on the council and in the council. You have a lot of individuals that don't know until they really get into the shoes that you can't do everything that you would like to do. There is a group of 7 that has to make decisions. And so sometimes you think that when you voted for an individual, they're not doing what you asked to do, but it is more than what people say it is when they ask you, or you're deciding, well, I want to come help. It's not as easy as that, because you can't bring everything that you would like to back to your sequence to say, should I vote this way, should you not? So there's a lot of expectation that the city of Albion puts on the 7 of us, as we were in those 4 years. And it's a lot of pressure, but I learned a lot. I thank each and every last one of you for all that you did allow me to do and become, because I can tell you, wow, I learned a lot, I've seen a lot, I know a lot, and there's many things that I can do better. And also, as you said, Andy, continue to be the leader that I have become and be greater than what I am, to help lead our city in different areas and different ways so that we can come together to make the city better than what it is. And I thank every last one of you, and yourself also, Mayor. And you got a good person here, sitting here that has That same mindset that we have, that we want to make sure that everything that this council does going forward from this day forward, it includes this whole city. And I hope you guys remember that if you come up here, it includes the whole city. We don't work in pockets, but we work for the whole city. Thank you so much.
Councilman Davis.
Yes, I would like to say, echo what my colleagues have said and say thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your dedication, your commitment, and your interest in the Albion community. I think everyone sitting in these seats have a commitment to the future, commitment to learn from the past. And I think where you are moving on to, I see it as a transition from one level to another level, to take all of those experiences and to take all of the knowledge that you have earned here to the next level and help bring our community together. Bring our community together so we can work together, so we can solve problems together rather than point fingers at each other or try to bring the negative parts out. All cities have some areas of concern, areas that are challenging. But I think with the commitment that we brought to this table, it's the same commitment that continue to exist in our community to bring us together so we can work harmoniously together and make things happen. I see great things happening in Albion. We have a lot of opportunities that are going to be presented to us, and we have to work together in order to accomplish those goals. So thank you. Hopefully we will see you again. And I like what you did because Wanda Kemp, who ran with me against me, also gave me a list. And that's an example of working together. She's talked to some people I didn't talk to. I talked to some people who may not have been at home when she worked. So what you have done, and I've given that list to the city manager as well as public safety to start addressing the concerns that we have. So as you campaign and you talk to people and they share concerns, share those concerns with the next person so the next person can address those issues. That's working together. That's what commitment is all about. Thank you and best wishes.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn signed item?
So moved. Support.
Adjourn 7:15. That's time. Do I have for a new, is this still to have to do something?
You didn't have a vote on your.
Oh, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right. We'll ask our new council members to take their seats.
His name is Steve.
Yep. That is up to you.
I couldn't find it.
You're always.
I'm sorry, Jim, you're gonna have to come on down.
I'm gonna get 20 years.
I,
I, Victoria Garcia Snyder,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of the state,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
faithfully and impartially,
faithfully and impartially,
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of City of Albion Mayor.
of the city of Albion Mayor,
So help me God.
so help me God.
So just kiss to the. Jim Silver. Do solemnly swear. That I will support. The Constitution. Of the United States. And of the state. And that I will. To the best of my ability. Faithfully and impartially. Discharge the duties. Of City of Albion. Precinct 3, council member. So help me God.
I, Dave Ross,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state,
and of the state,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
faithfully and impartially,
faithfully and impartially,
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of City of Albion,
of the city of Albion,
Precinct 4, council member.
precinct 4, council member.
So help me God.
Well, God.
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state, and that I will, to the best of my ability, faithfully and impartially, discharge the duties of City of Albion, Precinct 5, council member. So help me God.
Congratulations, we.
Everyone seated?
CJ, you got an agenda?
Okay, I will go ahead and call this meeting to order at 7:20 PM. City Clerk Domingo, if you'll take roll call for us, please.
Councilmember Williams.
Present.
Reed.
Yeah.
Stewart.
Present.
Ross.
Here.
Davis.
Here,
French.
Here.
And Mayor Snyder.
Here. All right, next we have our nominations for Mayor Pro Tem. Councilwoman Reed,
I'd like to nominate Donovan Williams.
any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Sandy French.
I thought the first one.
No, we have a discussion. We offer up nominations.
So just so council's clear on how the pro tem works, you do a series of nominations. Whoever, and they don't need to be seconded, you get all your nominations out and then. You do the election of the mayor pro tem, which somebody makes a motion. To appoint. Council member X as mayor pro tem, and if there's a second, then you have discussion and a vote. If it passes, you're done. If it fails, you go to the next nomination.
So do we have a discussion on
Nope,
any of,
there's no discussion, it's just nominations. Discussions in the next part.
so we have the two nominations. Do I have a motion? Councilman, it's gonna take me a minute. Councilman Stewart, just to get me in the roll of things.
Like to, I'm moving that we, I don't know, proper verbiage. that we move to elect,
To nominate.
nominate Andy French. I thought we already nominated.
You've already nominated, so this would be an appointment.
Do I have a support?
I move to appoint Andrew French.
So that's motion. Do I need support for this?
Yes,
Support.
Okay.
now you have discussion.
Discussions.
I would like to share, not having anything, harmful with Mr. Williams. But I see that Mr. French brings a lot of expertise as well as history to the council. We have lost a lot of our historical figures in terms of city manager, in terms of police chief, and a lot of areas we were not around when certain things happen. So the expertise and the knowledge base that he has to offer, I think would be very helpful to the council as well as to leadership in terms of making decisions.
I agree. I know that Councilman French has not only this term been on council, but he also served prior. And Andy, if I'm mistaken, weren't you also the mayor pro tem at that point?
I was mayor pro tem for 2 years.
Yep. So he has the experience, the knowledge, as Councilwoman Davis said, the historical information that precedes us, the rest of us sitting here, except for probably Cullen.
No, longer. Len and I, Len was here before me. Len and I came in the same year. Len and I came in the same year.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes, so between the two, and again, nothing against Councilman Williams, I just believe that Councilman French also has the expertise.
Do we get someone to speak for him? Or
Yep.
is,
Okay.
I would like to. I nominated him because he is young, but he has some great ideas. He has been very good on council for the time that he's been on here. He's very studious about it because there's a lot of times I call him and discuss things with him, very studious. He knows a lot about what you do when there is a problem, because that's part of his job during the day. And so I really think that he would be an excellent person. And just like I said, he has new, fresh ideas. And sometimes that's what you need rather than staying back in the past and pulling up. So I would recommend Jonathan.
Right, so we have a motion and support for Councilman French. Any other comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Frost,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Abstain.
and Mayor Snyder.
Who are we voting for?
We're going to find.
So we were voting for Councilman French.
I am sorry, I did not know that. Did she say that?
Yeah, she
There was a
said
motion
it's
to
fine.
support, yes.
No, I didn't.
That's done.
Yeah, but
Next
hang
turn.
hang on, she's gonna do an oath.
Thank you.
I will.
See, they gonna repeat things to we can hear them.
Andrew French. Do solemnly swear.
You solemnly swear
That I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United
of the
States
United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my
to the
ability,
best of my ability,
faithfully and impartially,
faithfully and impartially,
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the City of Albion,
of City of Albion,
Mayor Pro Tem,
Mayor Pro Tem.
so help me God.
So help me God.
If you will just.
I'm glad we got a small agenda today.
Mm.
I'm glad we got a small agenda.
All he does is. He does it.
All right, we have a motion to approve of the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, first up, we have a public hearing on our 2025 budget. So I will go ahead and open up this public hearing. It is 7:26 p.m. If there's anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council in regards to the budget, you may do so at this time. Just give us your name, address, and 3 minutes is yours.
Mayor, and council people, my name is Virgie Ammerman. I live at 305 East Main in Homer, Michigan. Sorry, I got a little cold. In front of you is the budget of which the EDC, Tifa, Brownfield and revolving loan fund are built in. In the past, I've been able to come before you and explain that budget, and I just want to let you know that I'm happy to do that at some point. If you have any questions, the EDC board did approve the budget, which is thankful, then now it's to you. So I think I probably misunderstood the time to be able to come and explain the budget, but happy to answer any questions if anyone would like to ask any questions at a future date. It is an aggressive budget because we are working very hard to bring in substantial dollars to be able to not only attract trainers and new employers, but also be able to focus very heavily on our population and the jobs that they need. So we have a workforce component that it will be bigger than anything we've ever done at the EDC before. We have the beginnings of a new industrial park, so we have a lot of expenses built in for that and revenue streams. And most importantly, we have a community engagement component that we want to make sure that we're getting out and talking to everyone. So those are all built into the budget. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to explain it all, but if anyone does have any questions, I'm around. And of course, you know, kind of where I live and work. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to stand and address council in regards to the budget? Seeing no movement, I will go ahead and close our public hearing. It is 7:29 PM. Public comments. If there are any residents or anybody else in the gallery that would like to stand and address council in regards to an agenda item, you may come forward. And 3 minutes is yours. Seeing no movement. Do I have a motion to adjourn for closed session?
So moved.
Support. City Clerk Domingo.
Councilmember Stewart,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes, meeting adjourned 7:30 PM. Go ahead and call our meeting back in session at 8:15 PM. City Clerk Domingo, if you'll take roll call for us, please.
Councilmember Stewart,
Here.
Frost,
Here.
Davis,
Here.
French,
Here.
Williams,
Present.
Reed.
Here.
And Mayor Snyder.
Here. All right, in your package, you have the November 25th study session minutes and regular session minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2024-10?
So moved.
Support. Attorney Harkness?
So this is, if council recalls, we have a mobile food vending ordinance that we had discussed. It's been a subject of discussion and council had asked for some changes to the how we do the permit. So here's what I've done. I've built in under section 22-241D, council has the ability via resolution to waive the requirements for the mobile food vending permits for special or community events. This came up because basically food vendors were having to get permits, or I should say, pay application fees to both the chamber and the city. And so it was kind of a double whammy. So this allows council just through a simple resolution to waive the requirement if council so chooses. They do still need to get the liability insurance where the city is still named as an additional insured, which I think is just wise on our part, so that if something happens, we're covered regardless of if they have a permit or not. The other thing that council asked regarding the criminal history background checks for when we do have the permits. Let's see here. I changed it such that the applicant has to, it's just for the applicant, not all of the people working for the mobile food vendor. If the application reflects convictions for any of the following offenses, any sort of homicide, rape, abduction, robbery, embezzlement, or fraud, that those are disqualifying offenses. The applicant, however, even though they're not required to provide us with copies of background checks for the employees, they are to ensure that no person operating the mobile food vendor unit has been convicted of any of those offenses. So how they do that is on them. But I know that council made a comment that it was a bit onerous for all the people working it to provide background checks as well. So I did that. And then lastly, council also asked that I add there's a section here that deals with it's under 22-243F regarding mobile food vendors using music and amplification devices. Council asked me to specifically add bullhorns to that, which I did. The ordinance is otherwise unchanged. Those are all the changes that we made. Happy to answer any questions.
Any
Sorry.
questions for, yeah, Mayor Pro Tem French?
So I made this comment before, and that is, we worry about applicants who are convicted of crimes, but we don't take into account the fact that they may have rehabilitated themselves of those crimes. And so I can think especially of a 18-year-old whose girlfriend is less than 18 and being convicted of something bad. And then it's 20 years later and, that situation is completely changed. That person has led a good and productive life, but because of something they committed as a teenager, they are never able to vend in the city of Albion's Festival of Forks. And I just think that's kind of a heavy lift for me. That we're saying that a past offense for whom they have served their time, they have done their community service as required, and now they're still ineligible. I mean, it's not as bad as saying that a convicted felon, shouldn't vote. I mean, it's not that bad, but it may be their livelihood, and we're denying them a livelihood based on something that may have happened decades earlier. And so that's a concern. And so I raised it before, I'm raising it again.
Councilman Williams? Attorney Harkness?
That is why I limited it to probably the most
Sure.
heinous offenses, I mean.
Sure.
I mean, everyone has their own perspective, but I would raise an eyebrow at anyone convicted of homicide.
Mhm.
You know, operating in the city of, with
Mhm.
city approval with anything.
Mhm.
The same thing for rape. I mean, abduction, for those of you who don't know, is kidnapping.
Mhm.
Robbery, embezzlement, and fraud. I don't think we want anybody that's engaging in embezzlement or fraud operating, you know, with the city's tacit approval,
Mhm.
a business in the city of Albion. But that's for you as council members to decide. I mean, if it would make council more comfortable, my suggestion would be you can add a time period to that and say, if you're convicted of any of these offenses within X number of years, it's a disqualifying offense, but I mean, you know, the question was raised, what types of offenses? And so I literally sat down and went through the entire criminal code and kind of put my city attorney hat on to say, okay, here are the offenses that would cause me concern about a business operating in the city.
Right.
And I overlooked a lot of them.
Sure.
And I landed on these.
Okay.
Councilwoman Davis.
How are these going to be monitored?
So they have to turn in an iChat report, which is a Michigan Public Criminal History report as part of their application. And so if their application with that report reflects any of these, then that would be a disqualifier for approving the permit.
Councilman Williams.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. To the point of Mayor Pro Tem French. In the scenario of any of these being convictions, I would imagine that they all had served their times because they were convicted. So with a time limit preceding those events, I think it satisfied what Mayor Pro Tem French brought up as a concern. If there was a year, 2 year preceding the offense or the conviction and time served, you know, something like that as a consideration. There are many people who have found themselves with felonies that cannot find employment, and they participate in the capitalistic society.
Yeah.
They open businesses and sell products and other things.
So I would say I would not, even regardless of time of anybody working homicide, rape or abduction. But maybe the other three, we can say a 5 or 10 year.
Almost for any of these you do, you're gonna spend 5 or 10 years in jail. So, you know, I agree with you.
Is there,
Go ahead.
is there language that can be included regarding rehabilitation, or they've gone through a program, or exoneration, or?
Well, I mean, rehabilitation is a very subjective term.
Sure.
I mean, rehabilitation in one person's eyes is not rehabilitation in another person's eyes. If they've had a conviction set aside, like an expungement, it's not a conviction anymore. Legally, it's not a conviction. So, and that would be reflected on an iChat report if it was set aside. I mean, here would be my suggestion, maybe to assuage council's concerns over this. You've got 6 listed offenses there. The first 3 are I think the most severe. I would say my suggested language would be, if they have ever been convicted of the first 3, it's a disqualifier. If they've been convicted of the last 3, say in the last 10 years, then that's a disqualifier. If it's older than that, then it's not a disqualifier.
That was my thinking as well, at least 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make that change and have it for you for your second reading.
So, and then Attorney Harkner. So and I may be interpreting this incorrectly, but. So if there's any event that they want to have this waived, we have to approve a resolution prior to that event.
Yeah, so the reason I did that is because when this came up, we were talking about doing an ordinance. To make it, because the existing ordinance didn't have the ability to waive it, so the only way to change it would have been to do a new ordinance. We didn't have time to do 2 readings and then wait 30 days for it to become effective. This way, you can somebody can ask for it if you have a special event or a community event. And you can do it at your very next meeting with just a simple resolution.
So that's for all of us to keep in mind as we,
Mhm.
you know, when we get to the summer.
Get it going in the summer.
Yeah.
Before the vending
Get it,
licenses.
get
go
a
out, yeah.
resolution passed prior to that event planning.
This is, how many, of these, licenses do we put out that aren't associated with the events? in The town, I mean, are we basically kind of waiving the whole idea of a license, or do we have a significant number of other licenses? that We put out during the year?
The clerk might know the answer to that. I don't know how many we do off the top of my head. Do you know, Jim?
For what?
How many mobile food vendor permits we have in a given year that aren't like part of the festival?
2, 3, 4 maybe.
Okay.
Some of
So a
them
handful.
operate
So
without-
that was, my point is, it's almost like we're just eliminating the need.
I think what we're saying, sorry.
Yep, go ahead.
I think what we're saying is that there's a fee associated with being part of the festival that gets paid to the chamber.
Right.
And so we're just basically saying that that money is still benefiting the city because the Chamber of Commerce is supporting it. We just don't want people to get charged twice.
Yeah,
Oh.
because you have to apply through the city and then through the
Right,
chamber, so.
right.
For any major event that has their own registration fee, they're often gonna have to pay a fee for their. Yeah, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. And additionally to your question, Jim, this all came up around the festival. So that's what brought it all to the forefront. It seemed like typically people didn't have the information that they needed to even apply for the permits in advance. So going forward, we'll have to monitor and ensure that people are applying for them. But they didn't know, and a lot of that language, well, all of that language was already on the books. Except for the stuff that we added about the food truck specifically, but vending permits were already on the books. And the process and the things that people were complaining about, mostly the background checks and the additional fee, they would have had to do that anyway. So it wasn't all new stuff, it was just the fact that it was presented in the way that it was at the time that it had been presented. And it all fell back on the vending and mobile food truck. So, it's one of them things that you don't know until it comes up.
So we had a motion and support. Mayor Pro Tem, did you make the motion?
I did.
You want to amend your motion?
I do, and with respect to section 22-242 application, section I. We will modify that language so that homicide, rape and abduction are automatically disqualifying. And that for robbery, embezzlement, and fraud, if convictions of either of those three happen within 10 years of the time of application, they will also be disqualified, but if it's longer, they will not.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Frost,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2024-11 for zoning?
So moved.
Support.
Somebody else a chance.
Attorney Harding.
So this is the second reading on this. If you recall, former Chief Kip was here and explained that for whatever reason, when the city redid its zoning ordinance several years ago, this auto body paint, interior glass, auto repair, oil change, and automobile service stations were not included in the as permitted businesses within the mixed use district. There are currently several of those businesses operating within the mixed use district. So this was apparently an oversight when the planning department put together the zoning ordinance. So basically, this just allows those businesses and future businesses to operate with a special use permit in the mixed use district. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Attorney Harkins?
No, I would just like to say, hopefully, they will also be protective of the land around them because it's near housing, it's near people's homes. And hopefully the ground will not become contaminated with, because it's talking about oil changes and things like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, right in here. And that would be really not a good thing to be around land where you got homes.
And pretend French.
Yeah, just a typo. You've got an extra D on line 4 in the purpose and findings. Just a random D, last letter of the 4th line. Within the MU space D space district.
Okay, yep.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Brent,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the second reading of adoption ordinance 2024-12 to amend zoning?
So moved.
Support.
Attorney Harkness.
So this is in reference to 707 North Eaton Street. This is property owned by Zick's Body Shop. It's been owned by them since 2010. When the city did the zoning rewrite in 2019. I'm not sure why, but some reason it was in the zoning rewrite designated as R2 residential, which is multifamily residential district. Realistically, it should have been mixed use. So this just changes the designation of the zoning to mixed use because it is most definitely not R2. It was, my only guess is as to why it was designated R2 is the surrounding area is R2, but this is a commercial property and has been for well before the zoning rewrite. So happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Attorney Harkness? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember French,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2024-13 to amend the zoning for 906 Haven Road?
So moved.
Second.
Attorney Harkness.
That's my.
Boy, I'm glad I showed up tonight. So this has to do with 906 Haven Road. This is a property currently owned by the college. The college is looking to sell it, but right now it's zoned campus development district. And under that current zoning, it can't be used for anything other than for college purposes. So in order for them to essentially sell it or rent, or for it to be used for another purpose, it needs to be changed to mixed use. So this will change the property to mixed use, and it's limited to the purposes that are listed above. Everything from bakeries to coffee shops to it being a boarding house or a single family dwelling, any of those things.
Any questions for Attorney Harkness? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Future agenda items. So I know that Director Clark brought up the fact that our YMCA contract is ending at the end of this year. So I would recommend that we open up another request for proposals. So we would probably want that on the next agenda.
Yeah.
Any other upcoming agenda items?
Aside from the budget.
Attorney Harkness?
And the city manager or the clerk might already know the answer to this. I just hadn't heard anything. Has our city manager search firm been contacted? Okay. Then never mind.
All right, any other agenda items?
I still, I requested an update on city street, sidewalks and looking at the ordinance, so I assume that is going to come up eventually.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we haven't had an EDC update in a while.
We have a schedule for snow plowing yet.
For street snow plowing?
We'll eventually need that.
The snow plowing schedule.
If I can, Mayor. In most municipalities, we have major highways that run through, and then we have major streets and then local streets. We try to open up not only the major streets, but school bus routes first. That's a critical, and then we move to some of the less traveled streets, and there is some science that goes behind it. It depends on time of day, it depends on traffic count, it depends on the width of the street, but we try to open up the ambulance route and the school routes as a priority. And that's, I think, how most municipalities operate.
And it's no, last year, they gave us a sheet of which ones, that's good.
But we could probably ask Director Garrett.
Yeah.
For something like that.
I have a school bus to come down last week, so.
Public comments. At this time, if anybody in the gallery would like to stand and address council, when you do so, just give us your name, address, and 3 minutes is yours.
Thank you. Barbara Lang, 810 Haven Road. At the candidates forum on September 26th, Mayor Snyder commented on the importance of making our city look attractive in order to attract new businesses and residents here, especially now that the Blue Over plant is gearing up for full operation. I'd like to bring your attention to the Mulder statue. It's kind of at the entrance point to our main street of city. It is kind of hidden underneath some rather tall trees that have outgrown their screening service. What you see from the street level right now is mostly tree trunks. And some of them aren't even straight. They do nothing to hide the functional equipment behind them. The hardscape, the sidewalks and the patio around have broken up and they're uneven. There's an unsightly asphalt patch that kind of levels out where somebody might trip. There are two very nice garden benches, but there's a garbage bin that takes center stage right beside the statue. There's a white metal shed there that's Amtrak, looks to me to be Amtrak equipment, and because it's white, it draws primary attention. It's the only thing really that shows up. The statue itself is dark bronze and would do well to have some landscape lighting. This part could be a beautiful welcome to our city. If we were to add a welcome sign with some style and some presence to it, right there, it would really, make our city attractive and welcome others as they come into our town. So I ask that city council begin immediately to explore a complete redo of that park. And look at the flowering bushes and perennials, as well as a backdrop of lush green trees. Somehow camouflage the white Amtrak shed. Take advantage of something that we already have that we're very proud of, that really speaks to our history and is a great public image for us, and take advantage of that, of what we already have there, and just make it work better for us.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to stand and address council?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Al Smith, 1209 Adams Street. I would just like to welcome the new members to the council and the ones who are returning. Mayor, thank you for coming back. This is this is a great time for Albion. You people are a great time for Albion. If you work together, like has not been done before, you guys could set some great precedents for our city. You could really make some wonderful things happen. Of course, look to your precincts first. Those are the people who elected you. Those are the people who you are beholden to. But never forget the city as a whole, because that's what you all come together as a council. So I thank you, I welcome you, and we look forward to great things from you. Thank you very much.
I'm Rick Lang, also from 810 Haven Road. I just want to recognize what really I think was a major event in the adoption of the zoning ordinance change for 906 Haven, popularly known as Belmont Manor, which we are neighbors of, and which was my great-grandparents' house. So the zoning ordinance enables the redevelopment and refurbishing of that property to, again, be a part of our city life here in Albion. And I think it's a great step forward. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Good evening, interim chief Aaron Phipps, public safety. I emailed most of you over, I believe, Thanksgiving evening. Councilman Stewart and Councilman Frost, I did not include you in that. But we had an incident at Thanksgiving around 4:30 p.m. that I want to recap on. We had two officers on duty. They were dispatched to personal injury crash. There was a report that a vehicle had crashed into the Kalamazoo River across from Riverside Cemetery in the 1300 block of South Superior Street. Those officers responded, confirmed a car was in the water, was quite a bit offshore. I was home at the time. Those on duty asked for assistance from Sharon Township. Thankfully, I had my fire pager on the open channel, so I heard that tone. Being that I live so close, I got down there pretty quickly. By the time I got there, there was a citizen from Parma, I believe. His name's Randy Fox. Fox 17 had reached out to him already and spoke with him. He happened to be fishing, and he heard the car come down M99 coming into the town, and he observed it drive at a high rate of speed and just off the roadway and right into the river. So thankfully he was there. He called 911. And then by the time I got there, Randy was jumping in the river, swam out to the car, relayed back to me that there's two elderly occupants, driver and a passenger. The driver was in and out of consciousness. Passenger was injured, but was able to advise that neither one could get out of the car. By the time I got this information, Officer PSO Zach Banky had already shed his gear, was down in his pants and t-shirt, took his shoes off, and he jumped in and swam out to the car as well. Officer Banky was able to open the driver's side door, pull the driver out, who was in and out of consciousness. I met him halfway, we pulled her to shore together. By then, Sharon Township Fire Department arrived. It was firefighter Tyler Collins. He threw a rescue rope out. And then I told Officer Spanky to get out of the water because it was cold, but he said, no, the car's sinking. I'm going to go back. So by the time I turned around, he was already back in the water, swimming back out to the passenger side of the car, and was able to get the passenger out. And utilizing the rescue rope, we were able to pull him in as well. The one driver was in critical condition, but they were both transported to a hospital. And we had a lot of agencies respond and help us out. But I just wanted to recap that incident. They were waist deep while they were sitting in that car. The nose was in the water. And by the time they both pulled out, that the car had gone underwater. So much like Chief Kibb did for me last year, I'm going to do the same with Officer Banky and Randy as well, and try to make sure he is nominated for every award there is. I can't thank him, Randy, calling 911 and for Officer Banky going out there and just helping that couple and getting them out of the water. And he saved their life, because I believe if they had been stuck, or if that guy wouldn't have been fishing, that car would have sunk and it'd have been too late. Just want to brief everybody on that again and commend Officer Banky for his work.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
We'll make sure that we support you in every effort.
Thank you.
As well as Randy Fox said, there's maybe this recognition of it.
So, as many of us were probably at home with loved ones or friends enjoying Thanksgiving. I always give thanks for our first responders, because they're there regardless of what else is going on. And I know from personal life, you miss a lot of these holidays and birthdays and special events because of duty. So definitely great appreciation for what you all do for our city, for the training that proves, positive when emergency situations occur. So definitely keep up the great work with you and your team, Chief. Any other public comments? Seeing none, city manager report?
Yes, follow up on your comments, Mayor. The two officers, Zach Benke, especially in a true display of public safety courage, rendered himself unselfishly, and did a great job. It's a commendation and credit on him and your department. And we certainly appreciate all the services of all of our officers that they render to us. Also following up, Mayor, I can't imagine extending again my appreciation to the staff for their cooperation, and all the public comments of moving Albion forward has been well delivered tonight. And I believe that's what this council will do. And with their support, we will do everything in our efforts to make Albion the wonderful place it is. So that's all I have at this time, Mayor.
Councilmember comments.
Mayor.
I would like to say to our new members, welcome aboard. We are very pleased that you're here, and your expertise in the various areas, I think, is going to be very helpful for us.
Councilor Reyes?
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to you all, Mrs. Davis, Mayor Snyder, Jim Stewart, and CJ as well. We are definitely looking forward to working with you all, and congratulations on the Mayor Pro Tem for Ms. Dr. French. Let's do some great things. Let's accomplish some of these goals and hit it out the park. All right.
What I'm looking forward to as well. Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Fred.
And I would add to that it has been our history that when we have new members of council, that we gather first or second meeting or a special session. We talk about goals and aspirations and visioning and strategic planning and doing the things that we need to do to sort of bring about the ideas and suggestions that we have from council members, old and new. And so I would encourage us to think about meeting in January to do just that as we move forward.
Any other council member comments?
So you're saying do some of the things that we said during our campaign.
Awesome. Yep.
One more thing. Doug, can we make sure to get these guys enrolled into the
MML.
Yeah, MML new candidates. I know that's usually in January. So,
Yes. Yes, I will.
all right, thank you.
Good idea.
As well as business cards.
Okay.
I don't even have business
I
cards.
don't have business cards either.
Yeah, we need updated business cards. I think we need updated business cards as well.
Just a reminder, everyone, that our Christmas parade is this Friday. The lighting of the tree, all the wonderful kicking off the Christmas season happens this Friday evening downtown Albion. So I hope to see all of you out there. I know that Councilwoman Davis got a form for the parade. I guess we need to find out if it's actual parade. Anybody know this year, or is it a reverse parade? I know they've done things a couple of different ways over the past few years.
Chamber.
Actual parade?
Started around the junior high, we're a lot up there, then work our way and in similar fashion. than we did.
Okay.
And at the Kids Museum with Santa and the fire trucks. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So, just email me if you plan on participating. That way we can figure out what we want to do as a council for the parade.
We can complete this form to have a spot, you know, in the parade.
Sounds good. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned 8:51 PM. Thank you all for being here.
You want to fill it out or you want me?